Coming to you live from the comfort of our own homes. Dawn of discussion.
Yay.
Yeah, because
It only cuts as well when you talk, so if you're doing something funny, like I might have to manually cut on the screen.
Don't worry, I'll make noise as I do it.
Yeah. Just go no. Just heavily interrupt one another every time you want to react. Anyway, welcome to Dawn of Discussion, where we've decided to restart at the worst possible time.
Yeah, 2020 was not a good start.
No, not particularly.
This is the write-off year.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to be fair, if your year starts off with World War III, it can't be a very good year.
No, not really. But anyway, so today's episode is just basically about general updates of things that have happened, which in the world of cinema, comics, and everything else, not much actually. Not much has happened.
Not a huge amount, no. I mean, to be fair, when did we last do an episode? Like October, something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that have come out since then. A lot of it that deserve pretty much their own episodes.
I think we did shoot a couple episodes before this as well, this year.
There was one episode, but I was kind of, basically I was editing it, and then I was kind of unhappy about it, and then I was like, well, maybe not quite.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, so everything has basically been pushed back and delayed.
Yep.
Which makes sense. A lot of these big studios don't exactly want to have films that would have massive big cinematic releases with box office hits and basically put them on streaming services and make very little money from them. So there's no real point for them doing it. So it makes sense. So what's been pushed back? Bond has been pushed back.
Yeah, Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious has been pushed back. Black Widow. There's another one as well. Well, bunch of others, I guess.
Free Guy.
Yeah, that as well. Everything has been pushed back, and I think a lot of those films are probably going to be delayed for actual cinematic release because they'll get, and to be weirdly enough, them being delayed may actually really help them because as soon as the whole lockdown ends, the first thing a lot of people want to do is do stuff that they weren't able to do, like go to restaurants, go to parks, go to the cinema. So it might actually...
It does make sense, but to an extent, there's a lot of films that were meant to come out right about now that are streaming instead.
Yeah.
So I think an example of that would be Trolls World Tour, which is not a film I would see anyway, but I
think that's the thing. A lot of films which I think even the studios know would struggle at box office are going to be put on streaming services, whereas a lot of films they typically rely on for box office, like Black Widow for Disney and Bond for Warner Brothers, they're going to hold them off until they can get them in cinemas.
I agree to an extent. Black Widow is one of those weird ones, because basically one of the things that has also happened since we've done one of these is Disney Plus has come out. And a lot of, all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe films are now on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
What they could have done, and I think would have worked, is if they just released Black Widow on Disney Plus, and then once the whole lockdown is done, they release it into cinemas as well. Because it is a Marvel film, it is a cinema experience at the end as well.
I think yes and no, because I think the thing is there's always a sense that a lot of people usually, people who go to see films that they've already seen before at the cinema are typically very big cinema goers. You're not going to get your average person who's seen a film and then goes, oh, Star Wars has been released at cinema. I might as well go and see it. Not a lot of them are going to do that. A lot of them are going to
I don't think that applies to people who watch Marvel films in cinema. I think most people who watch Marvel films in cinema at this point are not casual moviegoers. Not necessarily, anyway.
Yes, but I think the thing is, I don't imagine Black Widow big enough to draw a large enough crowd to just... if it were Marvel, if it were the Avengers, then maybe they would possibly do a Disney Plus and then release it at the cinema. But even then, I think that's the thing is, I definitely know that if I saw Black Widow on Disney Plus, I would be a lot less inclined to see it at the cinema because I think, well, I've already seen it, and unless it really does, unless it absolutely desperately needs a cinema experience, I'm not going to be rushing up to spend however much for popcorn and a seat and a drink at a cinema, because it's still
that's
expensive.
What we're hoping for in the end, because still, like, if I were to watch it at home on Disney Plus, and it is really good, which we're all hoping for, because let's be honest, there's years of hype behind this film.
Yeah.
And if it is really good, I'd be happy to go watch it in cinema.
Yeah. I think that's the thing as well. I think Disney could possibly even turn this around and turn it into a bit more marketing for the film, saying, oh, you know, the long-awaited film you had to wait that little bit extra longer for, you have to see it at the cinema now, kind of thing. So they may do it that way.
Maybe. I wouldn't think it's a good idea.
But I think that's the thing. They're also trying to feel it out, because if the lockdown only lasts for 6 months, they're not going to put it on Disney Plus, because they can wait 6 months. But if it lasts for 12 months, then they may consider it, because they're thinking, no, we've lost too much time on this film. We need to
it's been pushed back indefinitely now.
Yeah. I guess it's the thing. Everyone's kind of just waiting to see and get a feel of everything.
Yeah.
But on the note of Disney Plus, could not have picked a better time to be released, because everyone's looking for something to do, and now it's like they have access to all the Disney Princess films, all the Marvel films, all the Star Wars stuff, everything, including National Geographic, which I had no idea they owned.
Not just that as well, but there's a bunch of films by Silverstone Cinema. So think stuff like, Cheaper by the Dozen and Three Men and a Baby. All those films are on Disney Plus as well.
Yeah.
So there's a huge catalog.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the year of the streaming services, because if you think about it, Netflix is going to do really well now.
Yep. Amazon
is going to do really well as well, and Disney Plus is going to do well. I think that's the thing. If Warner Brothers decide to do the smart thing, which they won't, which is release DC Universe finally worldwide, it would do very well.
They won't.
They won't.
They do not give enough shits.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. I remember someone saying, "Oh, but I think there's something legally that states that it's harder for them to do, or there's less money." And I was thinking, I feel like that's completely untrue.
Tammy?
That was Tammy. And now you look at Disney Plus, we're just going, "See, she's not right."
No,
look, we've done it.
Because Disney Plus is arguably one of the better streaming services out there.
Yeah, and I think I guess the thing is, though, with DC Universe is that it is only DC stuff. So
yeah, the only thing I will say about Disney Plus that I don't like is everything that was released previously in the US, like in full, like The Mandalorian and stuff like that, is not fully on the UK streaming site now.
Okay.
So The Mandalorian, like when Disney Plus just came out March 24th, The Mandalorian had 2 episodes up.
Okay, I see.
As did The Clone Wars. I think The Clone Wars is caught up now. Mandalorian is still like releasing episodes weekly. So it's not caught up yet.
I don't.
Criticism I have.
I don't think
it's so long.
Yeah, they should. I don't see why they would do it bi-weekly, because it just doesn't make any sense. Because the thing is, you could then, if Disney said, "Yeah, but people haven't seen the episodes yet," I go, "No, they have, because
we all have.
You waited 6 months. You waited more than 6 months to get it into the UK. You don't think people were going to be impatient and watch it illegally? Of course, people did."
Yeah.
That's I think that's the problem they don't understand, is when they take their time to say, "Oh, we're going to release it 6 months later." It's like, yeah, everyone's already watched it by the time it's come out, and no one's going to go watch it again or pay for it. Why bother? Because if they've already seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've happily watched it again, because now basically, like when we had to watch it, means that are not entirely on Disney Plus, but we don't speak of those.
No, because then they'll shut them down, and we can't be having that, can we?
No. But when we were watching on those, it was always lesser quality. On Disney Plus, you could watch them in like full 4K, proper widescreen.
Yeah.
So it's still something to enjoy. I just don't really want to watch it now, because I'd rather just binge watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm rewatching a lot of shows because I know that there are like 10 seasons of it, and that's a good way to burn through them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're watching something, especially something that's already been released to full, because you know you can watch it and get to the end, whereas now because of the delay, a lot of seasons have cut like off halfway through. Because I know with like Flash season 6, they have cut off production halfway through the series because they can't keep filming anymore, which is understandable. But then you're left sitting there on episode 13 waiting for episode 14, and it's not even the climax of the whole series yet, and you're just going, oh, well, this is great.
This is a bit...
But anyway, I'm trying to think of what other updates there are to give.
Yeah, it's not been super eventful. Obviously, like we've seen the whole like World War III thing in terms of memes and all that.
Yeah.
That was short-lived as well.
Yeah.
That was like 1 month. And so he's like, bit of a short World War, but all right.
Yeah. I think that's the thing, is that this whole viral outbreak has kind of just put a pause on everything. And I've been talking about it with my parents and basically saying, for our generation, this is our World War One, because this is a massive event that's worldwide, that's affecting millions of people. Billions of people, you could even say. So it is the biggest event in our lifetime, at least.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, because I can't remember the financial crisis or 9/11 or any of those things because I was too young for that. So
no, exactly. So
it doesn't really affect me.
It was in our lifetime, but it wasn't quite
had the same impact. Because
yeah. But then again, this isn't really making an impact either. Because I mean, I know we're a pop culture podcast, but let's talk about the virus real quick, all right?
There's not much else to talk about. That's the thing.
Yeah, I need to fact check exactly which paper this was. I think it was probably The Guardian or something stupid. But they did a survey, and out of that survey, it turned out that like 9% of the Britons wish everything would go back to the way it was.
Yeah.
It's like to the 91 other percent that has said anything. What I would like to ask is this literally because you're essentially being paid 80% of your salary to do nothing?
Yeah.
Like, is this worth not being able to go outside because it's fucking deadly out there?
Yeah. I think as the thing is, as well as I remember seeing like all the like headlines of like people that just went outside anyway to go to parks when the sun first came out here in the UK, and was like, oh, it's summer, we have to go outside. I'm like, you fucking idiots.
Oh, dude.
What is wrong with you people?
That's not even the worst of it. Did you see the thing in fucking Bondi Beach?
Yes.
It was nuts.
I was not proud to be an Australian that day. I was like, wow.
Oh my god, and the fucking... whoever edited that newscast is a fucking editing genius, because he cut it to the Prime Minister essentially saying, like, people should not be outside, it's dangerous. And people doing that are really upsetting me right now, because ultimately this is only spreading the virus. And he just cut it with shots of people being at the beach. It was so fucking funny to watch, but at the same time, I did think to myself, we're all going to die because people are stupid.
Oh no, we'll be fine because we're staying inside. Those people are dead. I think this is actually a weird way, because all the dumb people who will go outside will die, and then the average intelligence of people in the world will go up because there'll be less dumb people to bring down the average.
Yeah.
So
well, to be fair, there's still a couple of industries that aren't key industries that are still up and running.
Oh, I mean, that's the thing. There's a lot of industries that are running perfectly fine. In fact, are weirdly enough kind of benefiting from this other stuff. Like, you think of all the online businesses and the places that are offering things like online teaching for schools that have been in that business for a really long time. They're
selling through the roof right now.
Yeah, their stocks are going really high. I think cinemas, restaurants. They're the two restaurants, especially, which are typically a normal juggernaut of any industry, are taking a massive hit unless they can do takeaway. Domino's is thriving, I bet, because they only do takeout, really.
That's true. That's true. Like it's mostly small businesses that are currently really suffering.
Yeah.
Like especially like if this lockdown is going on, so it's been extended for 3 weeks now, isn't it, in the UK?
Yeah.
If it goes on for much longer, they're all going to go out of business.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. The government can only really keep these businesses afloat for so long before.
Yeah.
I guess the thing, I was thinking it would have just made sense in a position like this for just everyone to stop taxes and just say, look, everything's frozen. But I know that's a hard thing to say. It's awkward, but I mean,
it's a difficult thing to do. That's kind of the problem.
It is a difficult thing to do. I think people are just in really... Because I've been talking about it with my parents, saying that unless you're in a really fortunate position in terms of things like rent or... Because I know, obviously, the landlords have been told you can't throw people out if they can't pay rent. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that once this is over and people haven't been able to pay rent for months, that the landlords aren't just going to throw people out straight away, saying, oh, you weren't able to pay, and I couldn't throw you out because the government would have had me arrested, but now I can, so get out. Which I think that's
most people as well, I feel, are at least good enough with money to the point where if they Like, if they are out of a job for the next 3 months now, they'll probably still be able to afford the rent.
Yeah.
But it's just the fourth month that they won't be able to when the lockdown is over, hypothetically.
That's
and then
gonna be...
landlord says, oh, okay, so this rule has been lifted and you can't pay me back now.
Yeah.
Even though you haven't been working for 3 months now because Simply said you couldn't.
Yeah.
That's the main concern with this whole thing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, that the government's going to have to figure out a way to convince landlords to just not throw people out and say, look, give them extensions for at least a couple months because people are going to need time to get back up on their feet, which is, I think, reasonable, but who knows how it will go.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, I will say the one biggest thing I've had with this virus, despite the idiots still going outside, even though they've been told not to, is before the lockdown even happened, when everyone knew it was coming. Here's the thing, when I knew the lockdown was coming, this is what I did. I stocked up on food. I stocked up on fresh water. I stocked up on all that stuff. Why do people just stock up on toilet paper and nothing else?
Yeah, that was the thing, wasn't it?
Why?
A thing and a half, I'd say.
They're like, shit, what do we need that's a mass supply? Look, toilet paper. Look, it's multiple uses. Runny nose, this. Runny butt, this. Food, toilet paper. You're just thinking, you want to eat toilet paper? Look, it's just like paper. And
to be fair, it's perfectly edible.
It is edible,
but you
it's
can.
not nutritious in any way. It doesn't help. It wouldn't even it won't fill you up. That's the problem. You're still going to starve to death.
I think the most common joke that I heard about that was that the main reason toilet paper went so well is that if one person I've ruined it already. Yeah, if one person coughs, 50 people shit themselves. And that's what because it's a cough that was kind of like the telltale sign.
Yeah, that was like the big thing.
Now sneezing is included for some reason.
I think because sneezing is just because I think people wanted, because the NHS and a lot of other health organizations knew, because of hay fever and with summer, sneezing is going to be a lot harder to tell than coughing, because coughing isn't as much of a hay fever allergy than sneezing is.
Yes, but now sneezing has been included in one of the symptoms.
Yeah. I will say, have you been paying attention to anything about Trump and who he blames for all this and how it's been handled?
Well, other than China?
Well, he's blamed China, but he said the WHO, World Health Organization, is to be the main person to blame for all this, and that he's cutting all U.S. funding from them. And here's the funny thing. He's the only one who's really done this.
Mm-hmm.
Which country has the highest infection case?
Well, other than China?
China's not even in the top 5.
Really?
Nope. 5th is Germany with 144,000.
Okay. France
is 4th with 151,000. Italy is 3rd with 175,000. Right. Spain is 2nd with 190,000.
Oh, it's Iran, isn't it?
The USA has 739,000 and is first.
Really? Iran isn't even top 5 anymore.
Iran is 82,000. That's the thing. I think people, because China and Iran are in better positions to deal with this because they're dictatorships, meaning when they tell people lockdown, people have to listen.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like, although to be fair, the best one I heard was a friend of mine said, "Oh, have you seen how many cases Russia had?" I said, "No." And he said, "Take a look. They have 30 cases." When he asked, and I was just like, Russia really has only 30.
To be fair, they're kind of isolationist politics that kind of keep them from.
That's true, and they're probably very good at dealing with the infection thing. It's like, how come the infection doesn't get into hospitals? Because the infected don't make it to hospitals. Where do they go? Gulags. Oh, right. What? They infect the gulags? No. They go to the gulags to be shot and then buried. That way it doesn't continue. The problem is the person who shots them is then infected, but then the person who shot them that is infected can be shot by another person. You see, it's a cycle.
Don't they do the same thing in like Burma or whatever?
Maybe. But yeah, the US is currently the worst across the board. They have the worst in total cases, worst in total deaths. They're not even number 1 with total recoveries. Germany's the best with total recoveries at 88,000.
To be fair, one of the things that does need to be considered in one of those things is we need to kind of look at death per capita.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, the US is quite a bit bigger than Italy.
Yeah. Because the US has 39,000 deaths and Italy has 23,000 deaths. So Italy was, I think, hit worse than most at the start of this. Yeah. They really struggled.
Yeah.
But yeah, the US is good old Trump blaming everyone else because he knows in November it's re-election time and he's got to look like the good guy. Although I was talking to my parents saying, and they're going, oh, he's going to get re-elected. I go, no, because they might do the elections online because people can't go out to vote. And I doubt most of his supporters even know how to use the internet. So we may actually get a position where there'll be a new president.
Yeah. The question is who then?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to think of who I would actually like in the US to even be a president at this point. It's all too depressing.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know the candidates very well.
I think that's the problem because he's just such a charismatic figure in the sense that he's terrible. You can't help but only notice him and no one else. That's the problem.
Yeah, but that's how generally these kind of things go. Is it's just one big popularity contest.
Yeah. I think the issue is as well, I think funding for campaigns is a bit of an issue now because people might actually be decent over there and instead of using their funding on their campaigns might send it to charities that are dealing with this. Probably not, but you never know.
No, not likely.
Although I know you haven't seen it yet, but I want Joe Exotic to run for president now from Tiger King.
Yeah, I think.
Because that was the thing for a while where he wanted to run for president. You should seriously watch it. It is a bizarre show. I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever, but it is bizarre.
See, but this is one of the things, because I'm one of those fortunate/unfortunate people that is still working practically full-time.
Yeah. I was working up until Wednesday last week, and then that was my official last day before I was furloughed. So at least I still have a job currently.
Yeah.
Which is more I can say for some people, because I know a lot of businesses, before they were even told to do that, were firing people left and right.
They still do. Because basically, the thing about being furloughed is it's a good kind of option, because if you can't do your job currently, then obviously you shouldn't have to be in a position where you're just fired outright. The problem is that if you're furloughed and the company sees that they can actually function pretty well without you, they suddenly see no real reason to kind of bring you back in and pay you again.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing, because I'm in the fortunate position where I'm staying at my parents'. So I don't have to worry about much. So if they did fire me, it wouldn't be the worst effect on me, because I could be at home safe and my parents could take care of me in terms of food and supplies or whatever. And the thing is, with a cinema chain, it is very expensive to run, even when they're closed down.
Mm.
And it's one of those things where I'm surprised. I'm very happy that they are keeping people on board, because it shows they give a shit about their staff. But it is, I'm not sure if you saw, but Cineworld basically said they're going to go bankrupt by the end of this.
That is really bad, because they have assets as well.
They have a huge ton of debt, and they've spent so much money on basically becoming the third world's largest chain. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because they have cinemas and all across Europe, across Australia, North America. Basically, they're just in such a position that they have spent too much money and have too many sites that they can sustain themselves with. So, yeah.
Suddenly 4D seems like a bad advancement.
Yeah. I never even saw a 4D film, in all honesty.
I've seen... So in my life I've seen a couple, but like a lot of them were like theme park rides.
Actually, that's true. I've seen theme park rides, but I've never seen a film.
I've seen two.
Endgame?
Not Endgame, weirdly enough. It was Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
And Last Jedi.
So, one that actually, thinking about the Battle of Scarif would be really cool to see in 4D.
It was excellent. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I don't really see a scene in The Last Jedi.
Everything was weird. Everything was kind of weird and awkward and didn't really make up.
Yeah, Last Jedi doesn't work for 4D.
Yeah. The only thing that I kind of didn't like about it is that it felt like they had to keep doing things for it. So there was this where she was approaching her dad in Rogue One.
Yeah.
By that platform, and every single step they did, the chairs started fucking moving. Like as if it was like every.
Because it also sprays you with water, doesn't it? Right?
It does when it rains. You can turn it on and off though per chair.
Because like that would have been really good for that scene, because that was a stormy night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the rain would have. Yeah.
And also there's like little holes behind your head.
Oh, for the wind, yeah, for the air, yeah.
It's not just wind, but like if they shoot with their blasters, basically a little bit of air puffs out.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Which is cool if it's in sync. Yeah. Well, it was more like it was the other way around.
Oh, so you knew the gunshots were coming before they were shot. It was literally
just... I was like,
Just imagine if there was like an actual real long delay and it was like a really tense shootout scene where it was just about to start, then you hear and you're like, oh, come on! 2 seconds later, oh, now we know. Yeah, of course.
God damn it. But yeah, that's not gonna be something I'm gonna be doing in a while.
No.
And like annoyingly for us as well, like we are good because we have essentially full-time, like we have contracted jobs.
Yeah.
But other people in the creative industry obviously are kind of suffering.
It's probably one of the worst times if you want to try and break into the film industry because everything has been frozen basically. It was funny though because I remember seeing on like all the movie set meme things were on. It's basically like, oh, lockdown, best time for guerrilla filmmakers. It's like, not really. Unless you're filming a post-apocalyptic thing, you're not going to get away with much because everything's closed down. Everything's just boarded up.
Yeah, also if they see you walking around with like a full camera crew, they'll send you home.
Yeah, they're like, excuse me, do you have a good reason to be out? Yes, we're getting supplies with all this camera equipment. We're filming ourselves doing it, so we have proof that we did it. Go home. Okay.
Do you need an area to do that? Do you really?
Yeah. Oh, God. It is so dumb. On a weird subject, I guess, of just updates, because we're scrambling for stuff. Are we surprised which department won the competition on movie set memes?
It was a joke. It had to be a joke.
It was sound.
Yeah, it had to. I mean, I don't think it's fair.
Crafty nearly won as well, which was super funny. They came third.
I still feel salty about the fact that Post just fucking lost to Crafty.
Hey, almost everyone lost to Crafty. I was actually rooting for Crafty because it was a movie set meme thing. So in the end, that's the thing. I
bribed everyone with fucking lacrosse.
Because I sent it to Tammy, and she's like, yes, sound won. I was like, yes, you won on a meme. And she's like, oh, you're just salty. It's like, because camera didn't win. I'm like, I'm not a camera person. I'm a writer-director. I work in camera, sure. But I don't give a shit the fact that camera came second or sound won. I love all the like excuses camera people were making, which is 100% true, saying you can't make a film with just sound. It's like, they're actually right. You can make a film with just camera, but not sound.
Oops, sorry about this. Just noticed something really stupid.
Did you forget to press record? If so, we're done. I'm leaving.
It's not that. Basically, so I have multiple microphones connected to my PC. And,
so it's just going to echo?
Yeah. Look, we're new at this, okay?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
I mean, if anyone is interested in like the kind of technical aspect of this,
it's funny how we were just slagging off sound and you just fucked up with sound.
Yeah, although kind of a Post thing, which Crafty would never interact with. They don't even have the brains to perceive whatever the fuck is going on here right now.
Oh, you're just such a salty boy.
It's like, okay. They're just like doing whatever they want with the little fruity snacks or whatever.
The fruities.
So if you care to wonder about like the technical aspect of whatever is happening right now, we are in the Google Hangouts call with Guy, myself, and the actual Dawn of Discussion page that is running on my PC, which I'm screen recording, which is why you see the little things here, right? That's essentially what's going on here.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we're in enough of segues goes. It's a good time to end that episode because updates-wise, we got through the very little we
got
had.
Through most of it. I think the main thing kind of to take away from what's going on currently with the virus and everything is that us not really being in the creative industry directly, but like kind of revolving around it and wanting to do things into it. Like we see that the creative industry is like in not a great place right now.
Yeah, unless you're Disney and you could juggernaut through this, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, which don't.
Yeah, because That's the thing, because I was thinking that some of the studios are probably going to close down when this is over.
Well, they have to.
Yeah. But I mean, like, as in they'll have to go bankrupt because not a lot of them could economically sustain themselves.
Oh,
Disney's the only one I could think of that could just basically shrug this off. Is like, nope, didn't affect us in any way.
Buy those companies up.
Yeah. Disney might end up having to save the whole film industry.
Yeah, may as well.
And then no one can say shit about the powerhouse of Disney. No one.
It will be ultimate.
There can only be one. And it will be Disney. Did Disney even make Highlander?
I don't think they did, but I'm pretty sure they bought it.
They're about to... Well, they're going to after this.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway.
Yes,
let's move on. Sign off and move on to the next episode because we've got nothing else to do.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a sunny day outside, so let's stay inside.
Stay inside.
Cool. See you guys. See you guys.
See ya. Double salute.
You don't see me right now.